speakers. We will start our session. Now we have our first speaker, and we have just 2 hours p.m. So we will not wait for everybody. And I propose to start our session, our third session of our workshop on methods, resources, and technologies of open learning and research. And I welcome all participants again at this session. And now our sub-session is devoted to cloud technologies in open learning and research. So we give the floor for the first our speaker, and this is I see Vasily Alexiuk. Good afternoon. Well, with and Oleg Spirin with their report. You are welcome. Yes.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I try to share my screen. Can you see my demonstration?
Yes, we can see.
Thanks. First of all, let me thank the workshop chairs and program committee for the great opportunity to present the main results of our study. If topic is the experience of using cloud labs in teaching Linux operational system. The course of operational system was and remains basic in the training of IT professionals and future computer science teachers. This course is basic for many years, but there are still problems in organizing its study. One of them, one of the most important ones, is the provision of access to various operational systems and organizing of independent students' work. This was confirmed by many lockdowns during the COVID-19 pandemic. Many researchers now suggest the use of virtualization technology in the teaching of computer science. But virtualization alone does not always provide ubiquitous access for students to computer resources. Other problem is providing students with access to high quality educational content and integrated them with any learning tools. One way to solve these problems is to use massive open online courses. The benefit of these courses are the ability to study at any time, opportunity to compare teaching styles and materials, improving listening, reading, and writing English skills. So the purpose of our research is to describe and systematize the experience of using the cloud laboratory as learning tools in the university course of operating system. Our course operating system is designed for 2 semesters. In the first, students study well-known Windows OS, and in the second, the Linux operational system. To deploy our cloud lab, we adapted the MDG Linux Essential course from Cisco Networking Academy. In this study, the integration of one more course and learning tools into Cloud Lab was performed. We called it CLOS Lab. Based of analyzing some studies, we can conclude that the cloud laboratory is an information system in which network virtual ICT objects are formed. Such labs use a special user interface, first of all based on web, which allow working with OS operational system in any case. It does not depend on any network setting of virtual machines or of their operational system. These virtual objects are in an integral part of logical network infrastructure of university. Our research performed in joint laboratory of Institute of Informational Technologies and Learning Tools of National Academy Educational Science of Ukraine and Ternopil Volodymyr Gnatyuk National Pedagogical University. To deploy our cloud lab, we adapted the MDG Essential course from the Cisco Network Academy. Yes, today Cisco company is developing an ideology for providing mass access to computer and network technology knowledge with the Cisco Network Academy. They offer both professional and commercial courses. But there are basic ones that are available to wide range of users and educational institutions. The teaching of MDG Linux course I'm sorry. The teaching of MDG Linux course does not require prior training and accreditation of the teacher. But this course available in English only. That's why during the deployment out cloud laboratory in the course, we discussed and agreed with the students some things such as the use of application or plugin to translate the course is allowed. Students must learn terms from operating system in both language, Ukrainian and English. Additional tasks are offered by the teacher in English, but they are allowed to discuss in native language for student. Communication with the teacher in the language of the student choice. This fact does not affect for the evaluation. It is possible to localize the content of course at the university learning management system, but we didn't use this method because it violates the copyright of the course developers. At this slide, you can see some modules from original course MDG Linux Essential. These topics are classic and aimed to the development of basic ICT competencies, such as knowledge the concept of operating system, working in Linux, understanding the open source philosophy, command line skills, getting help, navigation the file system, managing files and directories, archiving and compression, working with text, basing script, data storage. Our students learn content from these modules. We did offer students some modules such as network configuration, system and user security, creating users and groups, ownership and permission. Their content is provides for study in other courses, but the content of these modules is present in the final exam of original course. At results, there is a problem for student to receive a certificate of course completion. We invite students to take the final exam later or to study this material on their own. The developed cloud laboratory provides ubiquitous on-demand access to shared pool of configured and distributed computing resources. The architecture of such laboratory shown on this slide. The extended function of the laboratory for working with virtual machines are implemented by deployment of Apache Cloud Stack platform. So we can say that our laboratory is fully automated, scalable in design. Apache Cloud Stack provides work of students with Linux virtual machines from 50 to 100 students. The maximum number of virtual machines will be in the case of the command line mode of VM running. If students need to work with graphical interface, the numbers of VM will be less in 2 times. The laboratory is built according to infrastructure as a service model. Its infrastructure allows students to combine route and filter network traffic, such as local network of university, virtual local area networks of cloud infrastructure, virtual private networks through which students access to university cloud resources. Laboratory works include learning task and a sandbox. It is a virtual machine command line terminal interface with Ubuntu Linux distribution. Students perform tasks of laboratory work there. The original NDG Linux Essential course does not involve learning the graphical user interface. This is probably due to large numbers of user interface realization, but we have provide access to cloud stack virtual machines with graphical user interface and added appropriate modules in the learning content, of course. Uh, to ensure the performance of laboratory task, the cloud laboratory contained virtual machines from Sandbox or those that run on cloud platform Apache Cloud Stack. We used this method to increase the effectiveness of training in such cases. Uh, for example, network access to VM. We have pre-configured virtual machines templates to work with two common well-known protocols, SSH and VNC. The first of them provides ability to work in the terminal command line mode, and the second provides remote access to the graphical user interface, such as KDE, GNOME, Unity, and others. Multi-user mode. The built-in sandbox does not allow users to open multiple terminals. This doesn't allow the students to fully understand that Linux is a multi-users and multitasking operational system. For example, when performing laboratory work in module where data is stored, they had problems performing tasks such as putting process in the background, finding and changing the priority of process, forcing terminated the process. As a case, long-term data storage. The built-in sandboxes does not allow students to save data. This creates some problems. For example, in work-based scripting, student can store their script and they maybe copy this script, their own script from local storages to cloud sandbox. Interaction and joint work. In our cloud lab implementation, multiple students can work with the same virtual machines at the time. This is possible thanks to network access. Another way is to VM project from Apache Cloud Stack infrastructure is available to multiple users. To test students' learning archiving level, we create own tasks. This was done because the proposed laboratory work in the original course NVG Linux does not contain tasks for independent work of the students. We tried to make this task different in complexity, such as the first, second, and third level. Tasks are also selected randomly from a bank of quizzes. Such tasks were created about 200. We have analyzed the capability of learning management system Moodle. Cisco Network Academy currently runs courses based on this system. We used the test module. All created tasks were divided by levels and took the form of an essay. But this approach required the personal examination of the task by the teacher. On this slide, we can see an example of a developed essay. To test the effectiveness of the implementation of CL Cloud Laboratory, we have experimented. According to our methodology, there were 4 groups with a total of 54 students. They passed the course for one semester. The experiment was performed in 3 stages. At each of them, students received grades such as for all topics about Windows operational system in previous semester, for the intermediate midterm exam in the course Cisco and DG Linux Essential, for the final exam in the author's edition. The last fact is that there are modules on computer networks that will be studied by students later in other courses. We complied with the requirements for the organization of the experiment. Training during both semesters was conducted by the same teacher. Test task had the same structure, contained the same numbers of theoretical and practical tasks of different complexity. The test results from all 3 stages were transformed into 100-point scale. They can be downloaded by the link given in the article. We performed statistical processing of experimental data in the RStudio environment according the method proposed by Olena Kuzminska. Distribution of scores for all stages can be considered as normal. We choose the ANOVA test to prove hypothesis. Our hypotheses are classical, null hypothesis about the equality of average values of the scores at each stage of experiment, and an alternative hypothesis about the significant difference in the mean values. Using ANOVA test function, we made sure that the sample size was sufficient. As its result, we can accept the alternative hypothesis about a significant difference in mean values. That is, cloud lab is the factor that caused these changes. We also used the Tukey-Honest significant test difference to test which stages of the study had a significant difference in averages. So we can state the statistical difference between the estimated of the first and second stages of measurement. You can see them on the chart on this slide. Regarding the first and second stage, the reason for this result is the novelty of the training material. This is because most students have not previously worked with Linux and its command line interface. We can do some conclusion from this research. Developed as a cloud laboratory has the main characteristic of cloud computing, such as a browser. It's all that students need to access to learning resources and virtual machines, on-demand service. The students can immediately receive system resources, turn on, restart the VM without request. Online access to the laboratory via the internet from anywhere in the world with cloud laboratory. From internet, each student can use a VPN connection. Scalability. which provides the ability to change the numbers of computer resources without significant changes in the operational system. Similar cloud laboratory can be effectively used in both face-to-face and distance learning. The presented approach implements the basic ideas of the hybrid learning model. For example, in face-to-face training, the teacher explains and demonstrated the study material offline. In addition, students can perform individual tasks from any device. The teacher has the opportunity to help and control students' work. The result of pedagogical experiment confirmed the hypothesis about influence of cloud laboratory on improving the efficiency of studying Linux by future computer science. It can be stated that its experiment to deploy such laboratories in university and colleges. That's all. Thanks for your attention. Maybe you have any questions, dear colleagues?
Uh, Thank you very much for your impressive report. First of all, I would like to say that we appreciate very much your participation and and your you see creative elaborations that every year you present for us something extraordinary new. How do you manage to do it? I don't know, but all this is very impressive. I think we may appreciate it very much because we also deal with all these problems, and your experience is very valuable and interesting for us. I would like to say that just in spite the distant education now, we are in class now, and we have participants. If you like, you may ask questions. Are you from computer science? Yeah. Oh, okay. Then you may have a very nice chance to listen to this new experience and also maybe make some interesting ideas for you from this. Because this is our speaker, Vasil Oleksiuk. He is one of the first teachers in Ukraine who have managed to deploy the cloud computing environment in his university, even in that time when there were no such technologies in any institutions, as far as I know, because I monitored that situation for different educational institutions, and that was one of the first who tried it. Now we have a lot of such platforms and a lot of universities who have such technologies, but still you see that these original elaborations are very valuable, because even if we try the ready platforms for use, still we need some base for students to experiment with these technologies, to elaborate something and so on. Let me first of all to read the question from chat from Yulia Nasenko. Dear Vasily Petrovich, in which institutions do you implement or are planning to implement your models? And what about National Academy of Educational Sciences? What do you think about perspectives? You're welcome.
Thank you a lot, Yulia Grigorьевna. I would like to deploy the similar cloud platform in National Academy of Pedagogical Science. It it would be good experience for me, and I hope it would be good experience for other scientists. I hope we can co-work it on analyzing deployment and using such technologies in educational and science process. Maybe I get answer for your question.
Thank you very much.
We hope for collaboration in this direction, and I think we may in full scale appreciate your efforts. And maybe your methodical works, because we know that in Ukraine there are several islands, you see, of cloud computing elaboration, and among them your island in Ternopil we appreciate, and maybe your methodical works or some textbooks or some materials will be of great value here. Maybe you have some questions from participants. You're welcome.
I have one.
Just maybe a little bit louder, or speak here near microphone, because it will be difficult to hear. Come here, please. Come here to microphone.
Можно отсюда, можно.
Да, прямо тут сядьте, станьте, як вам зручно.
I have one question. It is how difficult is implementation of this system in real university? How long it take time, and that's all.
Do you hear well? How much time does it take system in the university?
Thanks for your question. The Apache Cloud Stack platform was deployed about several years. The last deployment was performed near at 2 years ago. Our experience says that the system requires the constant support from specialists, such as engineer, in physical laboratory, physical ICT laboratory. There are a lot of work to support this cloud. The works are prepare and deploy students templates for students' virtual machines, solve many technical problems with start, stop, migrate of virtual machines, and provide the remote access from home. All these problems I try to solve myself, and ask to help me other colleagues and the best students from fourth and fifth courses of ICT direction of education.
Thank you very much. And I'm interested, do you have Linux courses in Kherson University for participants? Do you learn Linux operating system in the university courses?
We have subtopics in the university course about Linux.
Mhm. And this is the course devoted to operating systems or some another? I see. Do you try virtual machines on cloud computing platforms during this course or not?
We try a little but
I see. You see, Vasil Petrovich, this is the situation, because every university organize this learning in their own way. And you see, in Kherson universities, they have another course and another approach. And all this is very much different. So you may just learn another experience. And as for me, I also have a question. I'm interested very much in this experience, and I have such question. You noticed in your report that the students may have access to the same virtual machine during the learning. But as for me, I think this is very nice. Well, that they use some learning materials which are deployed on virtual machines and so on. But as for me, I think maybe this is very useful for computer science trainees, just to get the virtual machine in their own using. You see, maybe they would like to have access to their personal virtual machine. What do you think? Do they need this? And is it possible to do in Cloud Stack?
Thanks for your question, Maria Pavlovna. Of course, students have their own separated virtual machines in Apache Cloud Stack, but some tasks required to jointly work student in the command. This task, for example, these tasks are multi-threading, multi-process, network access, and others. We can provide
on the Cloud Stack machine, yes?
Yes.
I see. Very interesting. And if you don't mind, I also ask you, what do you think our participants from Kherson State University, you see, what do you think about English language? Because they use English language during their learning. Because Cisco Academy provides the course, the learning course for Linux operating system in English only. So they adapted their learning process to using English language. And what about you? Do you use courses in English or no?
I think
There is no problems with English, and the students are also ready to learn the courses in English. There is just maybe the feature of our time, you see. They are used to it, and this is not a problem for them. This is interesting. And do you have Cisco Academy in Kherson? They don't think about Cisco Academy. Maybe they have it. Maybe not. I don't know.
I, for example, work in different places.
Mhm.
For example, for salary, or
Mhm.
from Cisco Academy, maybe some courses.
Mhm. In Kherson, they use different platforms and different massive open learning courses. You see, so maybe this is also is possible to use. As far as I know, Cisco Academy, this is powerful platform and very valuable certificates. So I appreciate this elaboration just for Cisco Academy. And if you'll be interested in cloud stack, you see, this is Guru in this aspect. Thank you very much for your very interesting report. Very nice to meet you. And now we would give the floor to another speaker. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria Pavlovna.
And now our next report. The last but not least. Well, a very interesting report. Now there is my program. Okay. And this will be the report by Alexander Nasenko, Yulia Nasenko, and Roman Shevchuk. Please, you are welcome with your presentation.
Hello, dear colleagues. Right now, I'll try to show my presentation. Let me just give me just a second, and I'll try to do something. Okay, tell me, please, do you see my presentation or no?
Just we are waiting for the presentation. Maybe one more moment.
And right now, do you see? Dear colleagues, do you see my presentation?
No, there is no presentation on the screen.
No presentation.
There is still.
Okay, how can I? I'm sorry, we just have some technical problem.
To show presentations, this may be the problem sometimes.
Sometimes, okay, I'll start showing my presentation. Okay. And right now, do you see?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and I try to do it in the full screen. And right now, do you see the full screen of presentation? Yes.
One
No.
moment, maybe.
To show presentation in full screen, you should firstly open it in full
Yes,
screen.
I have opened. Yes.
Then you took the option that contains the full screen presentation.
Yes, I made it. I see my presentation and you don't. Yes.
No, we don't. We can see in a full screen.
Okay, and in such mode, I'm sorry, in such mode, do you see?
In such mode, yes.
Yes. Okay, let maybe do it in such a way.
But let it be, because sometimes it is difficult to make in full screen.
Okay, so now you see my presentation, but in small format. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'm sorry for such technical problems. So I'm glad to greet all the participants of our today workshop. And let me represent today the results of our cooperational work on topic Telegram Messenger for supporting educational process under the conditions of quarantine restrictions. This research was conducted by the lecturers, by the docents of National Academy of Internal Affairs, under the consulting of our Institute of Information Technologies and Learning Tools of NIAS of Ukraine. So it was such a cooperational work, and today we'll try to represent the results of such work. So the plan of my report will be the next. Firstly, I'll try to talk you about the relevance and purpose of the research, then go through the comparison of modern messengers that we conducted, then talk a bit about Telegram chatbot and recommendations to improve the pedagogical effect of its usage, analysis of results of using Telegram to support educational process, and then conclusions and prospects for further research. So the modern stage of mankind's development is characterized now by the total digitalization of all spheres of human life. Innovative technologies change the usual processes, professional and informal interaction, leisure, everyday decisions, training, self-development, and so on and so forth. Digital transformation covers global economic phenomena and the formation of the professional identity of each individual as well. The introduction of quarantine restrictions caused by COVID pandemic made its adjustments to the current functioning of national educational systems. Online learning methods and relevant tools and apps went to the fore. Many universities all over the world have found decisions on the organization and support of their educational processes via various tools and technologies, repositories, national virtual platforms, cloud solutions such as Google and Microsoft also, YouTube channels of educational character, emailing, even messengers, and so on and so forth. So everyone tried to find its own way to overcome such a new problem as a quarantine. So UNESCO had developed a list of educational apps, platforms, and resources. By the way, most of them are free. And these resources are aimed to help educators, parents, and students and administrators to facilitate the learning process and provide social care and interaction during the pandemic period. In our article, we give a link to this page where UNESCO proposed such resources, and you can find them there. So along with this, the participants of the educational process are forced to face many challenges, and we have analyzed many sources and can conclude that these challenges are the next, namely, like you can see on the slide, a need to support the digital divide, disrespect for the primary goal of the learning process. So we need more time, not just teach, but also overcome some digital barriers. Technical barriers. So technical problems, the extra workload for educational staff, of course, decreased motivation, feelings of isolation, privacy and security concerns, and so on and so forth. More deeply, you can look through the slide. The pandemic has resulted that globally almost 2 billion children and youth were outside of the classroom. Education has changed rapidly. This is exactly the processes of digitalization and the search for effective solutions in educational institutions. And we also have gone such a path of reflection and selection, and this search resulted in our choice of Telegram Messenger. So the purpose of our research is to define the essence, benefits, and possibilities of using Telegram Messenger for supporting the educational process under the conditions of quarantine restrictions. At the stage of selection, because firstly, of course, we didn't know what tool to choose. We just appeared in such conditions that we needed to make fast decisions. Okay, educational process is going for, and we have nothing to do with this. So we have to find some tool rather quickly to not to interrupt the educational process, not to make any gaps. So we made such main steps to choose the tool. Firstly, we conducted a survey among students, and in such a way we found out the messengers that they already use. Because we had no so much time to teach them, overteach, and so on. So we had a picture what they already can do, what messages they are friendly. Then the second step was carry out a comparative analysis of the characteristics of those messengers and choose the most appropriate one. So the first step, the results of the first step, you can see on the screen. It was a survey of more than 100 students, and we asked them what messages do they prefer in their everyday life. And as you can see, most of them prefer Telegram Messenger. It was a little surprise for us because, for example, in our circles, we use Viber most of all and Facebook Messenger, but you can see that students prefer exactly Telegram Messenger. So it was a little bit surprise first for us. The second step we took, it was to define the criteria and indicators to compare different messengers. And you can see this criteria such as commerciality, price, because we needed free of charge, of course, tool. Does it contain advertisement? What about its functionality? Can it satisfy all those functions that we need, yes, to conduct educational process? Then architecture, and of course security, because you see that some of our students are not even 18 years. So they are almost children, and the questions of security, they are rather actual for our lecturers. So here on the slide, you can see the comparison of messengers. Namely, we took those messengers that were chosen by students. First, it's Telegram, then Viber, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp. And of course, it is not so well imagined here, but in our article you can look through this criteria more close, and maybe you will be interested in it. So you can see that we analyzed each messengers according to these indicators that we have chosen. The indicators we have chosen after analyzing a range of resources, because there are many resources that analyze different messengers, and we just generalized them and made such our approach. So these criteria, they are, I can say, general for most such comparison researches. Yes, and you can see here in the last column where there are general scores, you can see that Telegram Messenger scored much more than other messengers. So it has almost the maximum goals, yes, maximum scores. And so I can underline that according to 2 steps. So the student have chosen this messenger, yes, and according to our criteria, it also gain the maximum scores. So we made our choice. We have chosen Telegram Messenger as a main tool to conduct, to support our educational process. Yes, several words about Telegram chatbot, because it was a tool that we also have used in our work. In general sense, chatbot, it's a program, yes, that automates communication with users according to a specified scenario. In other words, it can communicate with the person, respond to the question, provide some information, execute requests, and so on. Communication occurs via text, chat, or voice. Chatbot usually runs on the sites, social networks, or messengers. In our case, it's Messenger, of course. The main advantage of Telegram chatbot is that programming skills are not necessary to create it. So almost each lecturer, each teacher can create it by their own, using both computer or even mobile phone. So it's quite easy to do. The Messenger offers an affordable toolkit that allows creating a chatbot by almost any user, without even with basic skills in ICT. So it was also such a big advantage for us. Well, based on our practical experience, we defined some advices on developing such chatbot for supporting the educational process, and also outlined the steps how to create it. Just 1, 2, 3, do this, do this, do this. It's quite easily to do, and we printed these steps in our article. So you can just open it and go through those steps, and then you will be able to create your own chatbot. You will see that it is quite easy to do. One can develop it via computer or tablet or mobile phone, and so on. So this all is in our article. Well, don't forget that we are speaking about pedagogical concerns. So we analyzed and generalized such recommendations to improve the pedagogical effect of using Telegram chatbots. You can see them on the screen. First of all, chatbot should disclose the essence of the course, because sometimes students can forget. For them, sometimes their often Messenger is like an entertainment. So it's very important to remind them that this is educational process, and of course, the topics of the Messenger, they must go close to the main content. Chatbot should disclose the essence of the course you provide. In particular, the name, the icon, they must not be interrupting. They must be according to the certain topic you learn, and should correspond to the discipline. The material should be given in a short and as clear as possible, because sometimes I saw such chatbots where you need to scroll so long. It is not necessary to do. So you should give your material in short blocks in a way that students don't need to scroll too long. It can be satisfied through adding external links, for example, or links to another models of your Telegram, and so on and so forth. The availability of control and self-control tools should be added. In particular, you can use external apps, for example, MyTestX, Indigo, Online TestPad, and so on. There are many free of charge sources that you can add to your chatbot as an external link. The chatbot should contain tasks of different format. It is important because we don't aim at creating just text blocks, short text blocks, and that's all. No, it should contain, we should use all the functionality, because the functionality of Telegram Messenger is rather rich. So variations of tasks, their diversity allows to diversify the educational process, maintain students' interest, to attract them to various types of work, which positively affects the mastering of the material. In particular, in our work, we submitted educational material using text blocks, of course, then illustrations, videos, audio fragments, stimulated students' independent work. They made mandatory practical assignments, and also additional individual and group projects, tasks. It was very interesting for them, by the way. Used gaming techniques. Students liked most of all quiz. Yes, we practiced quiz using Telegram Messenger. That was rather interesting for them. Brain ring and so on. Systematically monitored the degree of perception of material by testing. So add, as I already have said, add links to the external test resources. It is necessary to fill the chatbot with useful links. Since the submission of materials in chatbot should be compact, it is advisable to complete additional links, and this allows students to expand their knowledge, to make it more deep, more diversified, and so on. So more information you can find in the article. And a little bit about our empirical research. Here you can see intro data, when the research started and what we went through. So we had students of the specialty law. Yes, it was the first bachelor level of higher education. We had more than 100 students, and the name of the course was Police Officers Worldview Culture. It was 30 hours of practical classes via Telegram Messenger. This discipline is in a corner of psychological and philosophical disciplines. So we try to study students' impression after studying using Telegram Messenger. And you can see on the slide their reflection. We propose them to evaluate such form of work, and you see that among the advantages were noted ease of use, because of course they already were friendly to this messenger, usability on different platforms, free of charge, and so on. Also, we have noticed some challenges. We propose students to evaluate the general effect of using Telegram Messenger, and you see that the most part of students said that they were satisfied. So they evaluated this messenger as good and very good. But there were 6% of students who had some challenges, and they noticed that they had problems with unstable internet connection, interruptions in the messenger functioning, and an unclear interface. I can notice that most of these problems had students from a rural region, because the internet connection there has sometimes some problems. So it's not a problem of Telegram Messenger, but it's just internet cover in our country, I can say. I showed you the reflection of students. And then, of course, we were interested to investigate the pedagogical effect of using Telegram Messenger. And for this purpose, we analyzed the scores that student gained at the end of the course. So for the initial data, we took the results of students received after studying the first model of the discipline. This model was in both groups, both in experimental and control, was taught in traditional terms because the COVID pandemic was not conducted yet. It was the first semester, so the students just educated in traditional mode. So this block was our control block. And the second model of the discipline was studied using Telegram Messenger for experiment group. So we have identified if student groups are homogeneous or significantly different at the beginning and in the end of the study. And for this purpose, we used Pearson criteria. You can see the results of final evaluation in both groups after finishing each model. And we received such results. So the initial evaluation results showed that the differences between the evaluation results in both groups, experimental and control, are insignificant. The obtained data certify the homogeneity of samples. And the second moment, the final evaluation results showed also that the differences between the evaluation results in both groups are insignificant. The data obtained show that learning outcomes in both groups are similar, both in experiment and in control. And you can find this calculation in our article also. It should be emphasized that we didn't set the task to introduce a method that would significantly increase the efficiency of the educational process. Instead, our goal was to introduce a tool that would allow support the educational process in the condition of unexpected quarantine with no loss of qualitative indicators. Since the results of learning in the experimental and control groups are not significantly different, we believe that we have reached our goal. So the results were not worse, they were almost similar, both in traditional learning and using Telegram. So I can say that in such critical conditions, we have chosen the right tool and could conduct educational process properly without losing qualitative indicators. Well, some words about conclusions. The current restrictions caused by the COVID pandemic made adjustments to the current functioning of national educational systems. The need to adjust the educational process quickly and promptly in crisis conditions has contributed to the fact that non-educational digital services popular among students, but which are safe, multifunctional, and easily configurable, began to spread rapidly. Our observations, results of a survey and analyzing students' learning success, confirmed the following facts. Telegram as a tool for supporting training in a pandemic was selected appropriately. Students being active users of this messenger have effectively joined the process of educational interaction without spending extra time to install the application, studying the interface, and so on, and didn't lose more time. Functionality of Telegram allowed to a great extent to meet the needs of all participants of educational interaction, both lecturer and students, applying various forms and methods, chatbots, text and voice messages, video fragments, etc. Combining various synchronous and asynchronous tools like group calls, chats, chatbot, different types of format, and so on, allowed achieving the didactic goal effectively. In this regard, we can confirm that Telegram Messenger is a tool that allows supporting the format of distance learning with preserving the quality of learning outcomes. it is advisable to adhere to the recommendations that we have outlined above. It's necessary to direct further research to the creation of a typical mind map of a Telegram chatbot to support the educational process. And this is the prospect for our further research. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your very interesting report. It was nicely presented. Thank you very much. Now we'll pass over to the questions. Maybe first of all, I would ask our participants from Kherson State University, do you use Telegram Messenger for learning? Yes, thank you. Did you use chatbots from Telegram sometimes?
Sometimes for different purposes. It's not so often, but use it too.
Yes. You see, Yulia, they are familiar with this tool, and sometimes they may use it. So really useful tool, which is used here also. Thank you. Now, if you like, maybe the question from the chat, from Gennady Mikhailovich. You may meet him also.
I'm very glad to see you in a live. Very glad to see you.
To welcome him, okay? And this is the question. Why do you think that WhatsApp is used more in Europe and in the USA rather than Telegram? What do you think?
Thank you for your question. Really, I have analyzed many sources, and they show that really WhatsApp, it's quite popular in English-speaking countries. I think that, this is my opinion, that Telegram, first of all, in its roots, it was a Russian product. On the first steps, it was Russian product. For now, it's not Russian product because its creator, he immigrated from Russia, and now he is like an independent developer. So maybe, firstly, it were some political issues, maybe. I don't know for sure. But really, for now, Telegram is not so popular in English-speaking countries. It is shown in many rates that I saw many rates, and really Telegram is not popular. I don't know for sure why is it so, but some maybe it was a problem that for some period of time Telegram didn't give possibility to use conference call, video conferencing, but for now they add such a function. And I have noticed that during just a couple of years, they add many new functions. So they become so more functional, powerful. And I think that this is just a question of time, and just maybe a year or a couple of years, and we will see another rates, and Telegram will go for, because they develop much more quickly than other messengers. It's really so. They add new functions. They give many attention to the security. They really are more securable service than other ones, and they give more attention to researching the demands of the users. So they research these demands, and they try to react to these demands as quickly as they can. So I think that it's just a question of time, because it's rather new service. It was firstly a Russian service, and now it's just a question of time that it will go for and become more popular. I think we will see it just a couple of years, because its development is rather quickly. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much. And as I see that Telegram is very rapidly developing.
Yes.
And what about other messengers? the possibility of chatbots. Is it possible in some of them?
Yes, I can show you. I'll try to show my presentation again. And here, if you can see, I can go back and show you this table. Yes, and here in functionality, we have analyzed chatbot support. As you can see that only Telegram and Viber give such possibility. But in Viber, they use API, and no, it's a bit harder to do. It's
More
harder to do.
complicated. I see.
Yes, because in
Very
Telegram,
interesting analysis. You see, there are a lot of indicators, and we could not catch everything at once. So very interesting table you presented.
Thank you.
We are impressed.
Thank you. It's in our article, but we have short time to represent our results, so we cannot just go through all these indicators, but you can look through them in our article. I hope it will be published.
Thank you. Indicators are very interesting. Maybe you have some questions more, auditory. Just well.
I just think it's
Well.
of using Telegram bot.
Okay, our participants just have in mind using the Telegram in their activities. And also for me, it is also the same thing. You see, because you see, I just show you just to maybe for some entertain you a little bit. You see, this is what do you think? My new smartphone, Yulia.
I congratulate you.
Is it great? It is great.
Great.
It is great because just a happy event, because sometimes I even think that, oh, QR code, it's awful, but then, oh, I have new smartphones, that's all right, you see, so I can do everything now, but still I have Viber here, but I still have no Telegram here, you see, I'm a little bit retrograde as far as I see now, but I know that students like it very much. Maybe I also try it, but still you a little bit make me yeah, so to say, I don't know how to say, but to make it possible for me, because I really didn't like it, because I thought it was Russian. You see? But now, maybe after this presentation, I will also think over this possibility, because as far as I see, this messenger is more easy to use, and also it makes has more functions. And for me, for example, it is interesting. Is it possible to use it in computer version?
Yes, you can use it. It has a desktop version also. You can use it on computer, on tablet, on smartphone, anywhere you need. Yes, you can.
I think that this possibility is better than for Viber, because Viber also has computer version, but it is not so easy to deploy sometimes, you see. As for Telegram, I think it might be more easy, because I see that people really widely use it. So maybe this will be also useful. And if you say about these educational applications, and to work with all these references, learning resources, and so on, maybe in a computer version it will be more easy for eyes, you see, or something. What do you think of it?
Yes, of course, you can choose. You can choose what version you would like to use. You can use any computer because those content that you have put in your chatbot, for example, it is the same for computer or smartphone. It is just a question of your comfort, where it is comfort to use it. If it is comfort to use computer, it's just your choice. But I can say, because I have experience in working with desktop with Viber in this its desktop version and Telegram, and I can say that Telegram desktop version is much more fluent. It works better on computer than it does Viber. Viber, I always have some problems with Viber on desktop. Always. It is not so fluent. It is not so fast. It has problems with downloads, problems with the content. For example, what I see on the smartphone, it's not the same that I see on my desktop. It can differ. It needs more time than Telegram to um, react and to become the same. You know how to say it. Cross platform, it's not so good like in Telegram,
Mhm.
in Viber. It's on my own experience. Telegram is more fluent. And to your question about Russian version, the developer of Telegram is Pavel Durov. He also is known, thanks to VKontakte service. Yes, he is a Russian citizen, but he has some problems with political issues, so he had to leave this country. And his position is not that Telegram is a Russian product. No, it's independent from Russia, of course, and their position is to make this product free of advertising, free of advertisement, free of charge, and to deepen its function in a way that everyone could find those functionality that he needs. And it's free of charge, it's free of advertising, it's very easy, it's very fluent. So just many pluses of this incredible platform.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for this very nice presentation and such comprehensive information about this point. I think the presentation might be very interesting for teachers because we have a lot of useful information in one source, and having a look to this, you may close any issue, you see, concerning this matter. So thank you very much for this perfect work. And as for our participants, I would like to say that this is, after all, the good example of comprehensive analysis of some special product. And this may be useful way to explore any tool. Because as for me, many stages of exploration were presented in sequentially and in many details. And after all, I would like to pay attention to such point as negative aspects of its use. I think that we had today a lot of interesting reports devoted to different tools of distant learning, which are, of course, of much interest to auditory. But still, people very rarely pay attention to such point as negative features of some tool, of that tools, for example, that they usually use. And maybe we are used to some tools or environments, and we mostly think that these tools are better and they are nice. But still, in the ICT for education and also in industry, we appreciate very much the analysis also, not only benefits, but also risks and some possible negative aspects. And in this report, I would like to underline this very important feature, that this aspect was analyzed. Thank you very much. I also appreciate your hard work this year. You know that all of us had this year hard work with participating, you see. That's why we just very much appreciate that you successfully passed through all these thresholds, and now just well, a lot of the difficulties are in the past. Thank you very much that now we really exist. Thanks to our participants, and we are very glad that our workshop is really working. It is working nice. It is interesting for our participants, and we would like to say very much thankfulness for all our participants, for your hard work, for your patience. Thank you very much. I think today we have our best presenters, because competition this year was very hard. And you see, this situation concerns not only this workshop, but in other workshops and conferences is the same situation. Maybe this is some modern feature, or I don't know what is it, but still I congratulate you and other our participants that we successfully went through it, and now we have our successful conclusion. Thank you very much for your participation, for your support, and for your responsibility, for your professionalism. Thank you very much. And for this, we would close our work for today. And we hope that you will be with us in future, despite all these difficulties. Thank you very much.
And I add some words about results of your scientific work is useful for our postgraduate students who is there. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, we may close our session and see you later.